the kind of girl I've been looking for.
Bonjour, and we're back with another movie review. We're still in France, and today I want to talk about High Tension. High Tension is a 2003 French horror film that I saw way back in the day. I was a little ass kid when I seen this movie. Probably shouldn't have seen it, but it blew me away when I first saw it when I was little. You know, it's real impressionable. Even to this day, like that shit still hits me, and I can remember back in the day when I first saw it, and I was just like blown away, and I still feel that to this day, just because how much I hold it. You know, like I hold it like near and dear. It's like is this movie. I know I said this about the other movies, but let me tell you something. This movie is one of my all-time favorite movies. I know I said that about the other ones, but this movie right here, no exception. This movie is one of my favorite movies. I'll watch this movie. I could watch this movie like once a month. That's how good this movie is. And I want to share it with y'all because I feel like this movie, if you see it, you'll fall in love with it, and it'll be one of your favorites too. So the movie's kind of like Inside. There's a home intruder. The movie is real graphic. The whole atmosphere of the movie is really, really dark, and it's really like hopeless. But that's why I love French movies, because they know atmosphere. They know how to set the tone. The movie's dubbed in English, but the dub is kind of wonky. But if you can look past that, the movie, it's a 10 out of 10. You'll love the movie regardless. Like that's how when I was younger I saw it, and I'm like, oh, I didn't really think too much of it, but watching it now, it's kind of wonky. Some shit's off here and there, but other than that, the dub is fine. So yeah, let's get into this bitch, and you know what I'm saying? So the movie opens up and you hear someone say, "I won't let anyone come between us anymore." And they're repeating it over and over and over again. And the film opens up and you see someone's feet for free. And the camera starts going up and you see someone's scarred back. Their back is just cut up and done. And they have like short blonde hair. And we see a camera and you hear someone say, "Are we recording?" So the person that's being filmed is saying, "Are we recording?" The camera beeps. So it's almost like an interrogation room. And we get some sort of flashback. The same person, it's a woman, the same woman that was in like the interrogation room is running. She's in the woods and she's running and she's hurt. She's like holding her stomach. She was stabbed. And you hear, "I won't let no one come between us anymore." And she's running through the woods. And a yellow car is coming down the street. And she stops the car and she says, "Help me." And then boom, it was almost like a dream, because that same woman wakes up in a car and she's in the back seat and her friend is driving. And like I said in the Inside review and the Martyrs review, French people and cigarettes, they go together like Mexicans and beans and rice and Asians and rice and noodles. Like she asked for a cigarette. I don't even know if she brushed up her, washed up, brushed her teeth, or ate breakfast or nothing. The first thing she asked for is a cigarette. And so her friend gives her a cigarette and she was like, "I had the weirdest dream. I had a dream I was being chased and the person chasing me was me." Like maybe that's the effects of all the cigarettes that y'all smoke. Y'all be having these lucid dreams and y'all need to get help. So then she's making fun of her for having that dream, and this is Alex and Marie. Marie's the one that was sleeping, Alex is the one driving, and they're best friends on their way to Alex's house to study for their college finals and shit. And it this part kind of made me laugh because I remember Inside I said the joke, little remark about French women driving, getting into accidents. I'm surprised she didn't get into an accident here and kill both of them. So she's basically telling her like they live in like a little town. There's really nothing much to do, and then we see a big farm. And we see a little kid. His name is Tom, and then his mom is folding the clothes outside. Almost like it's like back in the days. Like who folds their shit outside on those zip lines? Like this is the 20th century, bro. Get a fucking dryer. And then we see like the dad working on some shit. And then, like I said, I probably shouldn't have seen this when I was younger. We see like this old decrepit ass van, and it looks like some guy's getting chopped up in it. Looks like he's getting some top, and he's groaning, he's moaning, and then he finishes, and then he fucking throws a woman's head out of the window, and he drives off. I'm a little ass kid seeing this for the first time. This is probably why the way I am is because of shit like this, but probably shouldn't have seen that. So then we see Alex sleeping in the car and Marie's driving. And Marie keeps staring at Alex, and Alex is like, "Eyes on the road, please." And there was like a love song playing in the background in the car. And you almost get like some lesbo vibes from Marie. And Marie's actually kind of hot. So then they're driving, and Alex says, "Stop the car. I see somebody in this corn maze." So they get out, and Marie is like lost in the corn maze, and she's like, Alex, I can't find you. Where are you? Where are you? And then she hears the car start, and then she runs after her, and she's laughing, and she's like, oh, you bitch. And then she gets in the car, and they drive off. And then they make it to Alex's house, and everyone in Alex's family is asleep except the dad. And he was saying how like the little boy Tom, probably her brother, was waiting up for her. And so she introduces Marie to her dad and says like, oh, there's food in the oven, and she says, thank you for having me over. So then she shows Marie to her room. They go upstairs and they go back downstairs to have some tea and cigarettes. And they're talking about it, and Alex is talking about how there's this dude she likes, but he has a girlfriend, and Marie's, you get like a jealous lesbo vibe from Marie. And Alex is like, when the fuck are you gonna settle down? And she's like, oh, I'm not gonna do that, blah blah blah. And so she's kind of irritated, and she's like, I'm gonna go outside for a cigarette. And she's like, okay, we're gonna study law in the morning, wake up. And so she's about to go smoke, and then she turns around, she says, Alex, thank you for introducing me to your family. So she walks outside and she sits on the swing, she's smoking her cigarette, and she looks up and she sees Alex showering, and she's locked in. She's like this. She's locked in. And like I said, the lesbian vibes that you got earlier, they're really starting to present themselves now. So then it cuts to Marie, and she's looking at Alex, and it cuts to Alex, and it cuts back to Marie, and she's gone. She left the swing. So then she goes to her room, and she's laying down on the bed, and she's playing some reggae music, which I fuck with that shit, because I'm actually mixed with some Jamaican on my dad's side. So this movie, it's brought my peoples together. So like I said, this movie came out when I was young. I should not have seen this movie, but I did. I'm trying to keep it as plain as possible, but she's listening to reggae music, and she's flicking the bean. I'm not even gonna hold you. This part was hot as fuck back in the day. It's hot as fuck now, and I'm not even gonna get into the rest of that. So while she's doing that shit, the van from earlier with the decrepit van pulls up, and Marie she stops. And if I was the director, I would have said cut. And then I would have been like, okay, we need to keep shooting it. Nah, you messed up. Shoot it again. Nah, okay, you shoot it again. Nah, do this. Nah, okay, like do. And then like I would have like tried to smell her fingers. So then the van pulls up and the dog starts barking. So then the dad goes downstairs to check, and you don't see the killer's face. Well, he's not a killer yet. He didn't kill nobody. Well, I guess the woman in the beginning with the head. Anyway, so the dad looks through like this bar, and then he slashes the dad's face with a razor, and the dad's face is like cut in half down the middle. And then he kills him in the most cartoonish, Looney Tune ass way possible. Some Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck type shit. The dad's crawling up the stairs, and then the guy kicks the dad's head in between like the shit on the stairs, like the two bars, like whatever. So the dad's head is stuck, and he's like looking around stuck. And the killer knocks shit off of a dresser, and he pushes the dresser into the dad's head, and the dad's head gets decapitated and blood starts squirting out of his neck. It's the most, nobody in movie history or in the world for that matter has ever been killed that way. And if you have been, you probably deserve it. That shit was crazy. Marie was witnessing this happening, so she ran upstairs into the room she was sleeping in. She made the bed, she dried underneath the faucet to make it seem like no one was there. So she goes underneath the bed, and the killer walks upstairs to her room. He's investigating like a Spanish mom, just making sure you're asleep in your room, but you're under the covers with your Nintendo DS. He's checking the faucet, checking the heater, making sure that no one was in there, and she's under the bed curled up crying. Like I can't imagine like shit that goes on like this in real life. Like that must be the most intense, horrifying situation you could ever be in. So then the killer goes into Alex's room, and she's sleeping, and he's like petting her, and then he like goes like this, like he's mewing. Marie goes into the parents' room, and she's looking for a phone, and she can't find one. Then she hears a scream, and she runs into the closet, and she sees the mom walking in. She's fumbling, she's stumbling, she's all bloody, and she finds the phone, and like right before she goes to grab it, the killer grabs her from behind and slits her throat. And like I said, as a little ass kid, seeing something like this was just crazy. So Marie's in the closet like me, and she's covering her face, and blood just squirts out onto the closet door. And then you hear like sawing, and then the killer leaves. So then when Marie comes out the closet like me, she sees that the mom got her throat slit, got her hands cut off, looked like some cartel shit. And the phone doesn't work because I guess the killer had cut the line. And one of the theories that people were saying online was when Marie puts her ear to Alex's mom's mouth, it sounds like she's saying why. There's no subtitles. I don't know if it's dubbed or not. I don't know what why means in French, but it seems like she's saying why. Like she's like, why? So Marie tries to free Alex, and then they hear the little brother, Tom, saying, Mommy, and the killer's chasing him, and he goes outside, and the killer grabs a shotgun from his truck. So then Tom runs into the field, and the killer's chasing after him. And you don't see it happen, you just see like a shot of the field, and you hear bow, and like the light kind of lights up, and you hear another shot. So he actually shot him twice. So then the killer picks up Alex and takes him to the car, and Marie snuck inside with a knife, and then they drive off, and then we see like a highlight reel of like the family that's dead. The dad got decapitated in the staircase, the mom got her throat cut, and the little kid got shot in the back with a shotgun. Even the dog got it. Like, I understand you got to kill the whole family, but don't kill the dog. You know, like kill the kid, but don't kill the dog. And so before the killer went back into the truck to take Marie and Alex, he cut out a picture of Alex's face in a family picture, like a little ass picture, and he sticks it inside of like, I don't know, like what the fuck you call that, like the mirror, the sun blocker, and you see all these other pictures of all these other girls. And inside the truck, Marie and Alex look up and they see that it's covered in blood and like hair. So he's done this shit multiple times, and they just fell victim to him. So then they arrive at a gas station, and the killer got to get gas, and Marie's like cutting some shit out of a window, and she could see like, oh, we're at a gas station. So she runs into the gas station, and right before she gets inside, the gas thing stops. So then the killer walks in, but Marie is able to get in there before him. And so she looks at the gas station clerk, and he's like, Mademoiselle, and she's like, call the police. And then she runs and hides, and the killer walks in and is like, hey, Jimmy. So the killer and Jimmy probably know each other. This is a route that he probably takes. And they just have some small talk. And then the killer notices Jimmy's kind of like looking around. And so he tells Jimmy, like, give me some liquor. So Jimmy goes to get some liquor. And like when he turns around to face him, the killer swings an axe and hits him right in the chest and kills him. So then Marie runs into like these bathrooms, which I guess in France they don't have toilets. They just squat over a hole, almost kind of like they do in Korea. Like, we'll get into that movie. I Saw the Devil. There's a scene where the toilets, they're just like holes in the floor. So then Marie's hiding, and the killer's kind of like opening every stall to see like if she's in there, but then he ends up just taking a piss. So then she waits for him to leave, and then she walks out and she gets some water, and then she goes inside the gas station and she calls the police saying that I don't know the last name of the family, but the family's dead, and that the killer took Alex, and so the cops are going to be on their way. So then Marie finds a revolver, and she takes the keys from Jimmy, and she hops into his car and she follows the killer. So Marie's following the killer, and they're going down like this woody path, like this road, and she's like kind of falling asleep. She's like checking her eyes, and she's trying to stay awake. And all of a sudden, the killer just ends up behind her, and he throws the bullets out of the window that she had from the gun, and he ends up hitting her from the back, pause, and she flies off of like a cliff, and the car tumbles over and it's on fire. She gets out of the car, and she's all bloody and she's limping, and she walks into, it looks like a greenhouse for like plants. And so she's like tending to her wounds with like old rags and shit. And then you see the killer walking through the greenhouse with a flashlight, and you could see like the light coming from the flashlight from Marie's POV. And so what she does is she grabs this big wood, and she wraps it in barbed wire, almost like Mick Foley. And she's like, she's ready. She's ready to fight. She's ready to get this shit in. So she's looking around, and she could see the light flashing like that, and she thinks it's him like holding it. And when she like throws open like this sheet, he fucking ghetto rigged the flashlight to a belt so that way it's hanging. He comes from behind her, and he smothers her with like some tarp to like suffocate her, and then they fall to the floor. And so he's on top of her saying like Alex turns you on, you're a little slut, this and that. And she reaches and she grabs like a coconut. It looks like a big coconut, and she smacks him in the temple with it, and he's bleeding. And then she grabs that big wood with the barbed wire, and she smacks him in the face with it. And when she pulls away, the barbed wire and shit gets stuck in his face, and you just hear like shit is disgusting. And then she grabs the tarp and then she puts it over his face and suffocates him. And then he like gets back up and then she smacks him again with the barbed wire bat. And the unrated version, she hits him hella times. And then with the rated version, she only hits him like once. And then it looks like she kills him and then she screams. And then we get to the plot twist. So strap yourselves in. I hope your ass is attached to your body because it's probably gonna fall off. So it cuts to the gas station and we see the police arrive and we see Jimmy on the floor all dead and we see like the detective looking at the monitor at the camera and what happened, and it wasn't the fucking guy that killed him. What he saw on the screen was Marie swinging the axe into the guy's stomach, into Jimmy's stomach, and killing him. And then she does one of these like she's looking at the camera type shit. So she's the killer. She's the one that killed the family. She's the one that killed Jimmy. And that was the plot twist that blew me away when I was younger. That's the plot twist that a lot of people don't like because there's a lot of inconsistent shit, but we'll get to that at the end. Marie goes back to the truck to free Alex, and Alex has like a gag in her mouth, and she frees Alex, and she's like, I killed him, I killed him, I killed him. And she pulls the knife out that Marie had snuck into the truck. And she's like, get away from me, you killed my family. And then we get flashbacks, and it wasn't the guy that decapitated the dad. It was Marie. It was Marie who killed the mom. It was Marie who went into the corn maze and killed the little kid. That's the big reveal. And it was funny the way they did it. Like, how did she get there? Was the truck always there? Like, these are the questions that people can't find answers to, but I can look past that and I can enjoy the rest of it. Anyway, so she stabs Marie and she runs off. And she stabbed Marie and she ran off. And then it cut to the guy pulling the knife out. And he or she, whatever, pulls like a circular saw out of the passenger seat of the truck and is running after Alex. And it kind of gives you like vibes like from the beginning when Marie was running through the woods, it's Alex running through the woods. And when I first saw this shit, like the trailer to this movie, this part was in the trailer, I thought it was like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So then the yellow car from the beginning is driving and Alex stops it, stop when it was Marie in the beginning. So it's Alex. And so then the guy jumps on top of the yellow car and he's cutting into it with the circular saw and he just obliterates the driver, just turns him into spaghettis, like just wrecks him. So then he's trying to get to Alex in the back and she's screaming and she uses a crowbar to like break the windows and she gets out of it. So she's crawling away. She has like a big piece of glass stuck in her like Achilles heel and the killer's backing Alex down and like she's scooting backwards and it cuts from the guy to Marie, So then the guy's like putting the circular saw in her face and like, do you love me? Do you love me? You little slut. Do you love me? And she's like, yes, I love you. Yes, I love you. Then he puts the circular saw down. And when he kneels down in frame, we see Marie. So then Marie's like kissing on her and then this and that. And then you hear like, and Alex stabbed Marie with the crowbar. It went like through her chest and out her back. And then you hear, I won't let no one come between us anymore. Then it cuts to like the interrogation room at the psych ward. You see Marie with her feet, her back all scarred up just from the beginning. And you hear Alex's voice. And she says, does she see us? And I guess the doctor or someone says it's a two-way mirror. She can't see you. And then all of a sudden, Marie looks at where Alex is from the glass and she like extends her arms out to like hug her. And the movie ends. And this movie left a lot of questions unanswered, but when I was younger, I wasn't thinking about any of that. I just thought about how bloody and violent it was, and that's what made me fall in love with the movie when I was younger. And even watching it now, I still love this movie. It's still one of my favorites. It's probably my favorite horror movie, nostalgia-wise and just like story-wise and just how everything's set up. The French people know how to make a good-ass horror film, just like with Martyrs, just like with Inside. So if I rated this shit out of like 10, this would be like an 11 for me. So I highly recommend this movie. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's on Tubi. I have it on Amazon Prime. But the plot twist, I didn't see coming when I was younger. And even to this day, it still leaves a lot of questions unanswered. But I don't even... It's fun to kind of go down that rabbit hole and think like, oh, maybe she had the van. Maybe the van was there. How did she get a circular saw? How did she get a shotgun? But it's stuff like that that makes you rewatch the movie 3, 4, 5, 6 times. I'm probably on my 18th watch overall. And this movie came out in 2003. So, like I said, this movie is one of my absolute favorites. I highly recommend this movie. If you had to pick a movie between the French that I covered, Martyrs, Inside, and High Tension, I would start with High Tension. And that's all I have to say about the movie. I love this movie. I hope you guys check it out. I hope you guys like the review. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace out.